The economy just had one of its strongest hiring months in a year. So, why did the stock market just have its ugliest day since last spring? And why does your budget still feel just as tight as it did a month ago? Here's the part that doesn't add up. Good news about jobs is supposed to feel like good news. More people working, more paychecks, a healthier economy all around. And yet, the moment that report landed, markets dropped hard, and a lot of households looked at the headlines and felt that familiar knot in their stomach, without knowing exactly why. So that's what we want to untangle together today. How can a great jobs report turn into bad news for your wallet? Let's decode this together. Let's start with what actually happened, because the number itself is genuinely impressive. Last month, employers added about 172,000 jobs. The experts had penciled in roughly half that, so this wasn't a squeaker, it was a blowout. Normally, that's the kind of headline you'd want to frame and stick on the fridge. Strong hiring, steady unemployment, an economy that just refuses to roll over. But Wall Street looked at that exact same report and basically winced. Stocks sold off, technology shares took the worst of it, and the whole mood flipped from celebration to caution in a single morning. If you felt a little whiplash reading those two stories side by side, you're not imagining it. The economy and your wallet were handed two completely different messages on the very same day. So why would good news rattle the market? This is where we meet the real force in today's story, and it isn't a company or a person. It's the interest rate. Here's the short version, no math required. For most of the past year, a lot of people were quietly betting that the Federal Reserve, the group that sets the cost of borrowing for the entire country, would start cutting rates soon. Lower rates make almost everything cheaper. Cheaper mortgages, cheaper car loans, cheaper credit card balances, cheaper borrowing for the businesses you buy from every day. Then, this jobs report showed up and threw cold water on all of it. When the economy looks this strong, the people at the Fed have very little reason to rush in and make money cheaper. Why ease off the brakes when the car is clearly still moving fast? There's one more piece to this. When lots of people are working and earning, they keep spending, and steady spending can keep prices from cooling off. The Fed's whole mission right now is getting prices back under control, so a red-hot job market is just about the last thing that gives them room to cut. And that, right there, is the villain of this episode. Not greed, not some shady boardroom, just a stubborn rate environment that keeps refusing to come down on the schedule everybody was hoping for. Wall Street calls this higher for longer, which honestly sounds less like a serious economic policy and more like a slogan on the wall of a budget gym. You can just call it the reason your money still feels expensive to borrow. Now, here is where this stops being a stock market story and starts being a kitchen table story. When rates stay high, that pressure doesn't politely stay on a trading floor. It leaks into almost every corner of a normal household budget. If you're carrying a credit card balance, the interest you're paying is still parked up near the highest levels in decades, and it is not coming down just because hiring was strong. For anyone who's been waiting for mortgage rates to drop before buying or refinancing, this report just nudged that hope a little further down the road. Car loans? Same story. And this is the answer to the question we opened with. A strong jobs report can be bad news for your wallet because it tells the people who control borrowing costs that they can take their time. The stronger the economy looks on paper, the longer your debt stays expensive in real life. That's the connection almost nobody bothers to spell out for you on the evening news. There's one more place this shows up, and you may have already felt it. If you opened your retirement account this week and your stomach dropped, that's the same story playing out in a different room of the house. A big chunk of most retirement accounts, your 401k or IRA, the savings you build for later through work or on your own, is tied to those very technology companies that just took the hit. So when they fall, your balance can dip right along with them, even though you didn't touch a thing. Here's the calm part, though. For money you won't need for years, a rough week is noise, not news. The worst move you can make is to panic and sell a long-term account over one ugly Friday. But there's also a genuine flip side to all of this. The same high rates that make borrowing painful also make saving more rewarding than it's been in years. Let's bring this all the way down to your actual money this week. Picture the two sides of your finances sitting on a scale. On one side, the money you owe. On the other, the money you've managed to set aside. In a higher-for-longer world, both sides get more powerful, just in opposite directions. On the debt side, every dollar of high-interest balance is quietly working against you, and it isn't getting cheaper anytime soon. That's the side to attack first, starting with whatever charges you the most. On the savings side, here's the part most people are leaving on the table. A lot of online savings accounts are still paying somewhere around 4% right now, while the basic account at a big traditional bank often pays almost nothing. Sit with what that gap actually means. If your emergency fund is parked in a regular account earning close to zero, that's money quietly underperforming every single month. Moving it into a high-yield savings account, which is just an account that pays you a competitive rate for keeping your cash there, is the kind of unglamorous move that never makes a dramatic headline. It just works away in the background, month after month, without you lifting another finger. So here's your one thing to do this week. Look up the actual interest rate on wherever your savings currently lives. Just that one number. If it starts with a zero, treat that as your signal that this rate environment is working against you, when it could just as easily be working for you. As for what we're keeping an eye on from here, a few things stand out. First, watch what the Federal Reserve says at its next meeting, not just whether they move rates, but the tone they use. Their language tells you whether higher for longer is going to be the story for a few more months, or a good deal longer than that. Second, and this is the one you can check in under 5 minutes right now, pull up any loan or card you have and find out whether its rate is fixed or variable. Fixed means it's locked in and won't budge. Variable means it moves right along with the rate environment we just talked about. And in a stretch like this one, variable is the thing to watch most closely. Third, keep an eye on whether banks start quietly trimming those savings rates. They tend to be generous when they're competing hard for your deposits, and a lot less generous the moment they decide you've stopped paying attention. This story is still developing, and the next big economic release will tell us a lot about which way it all tips from here. We'll be watching it closely. If there's one habit to carry out of all of this, it's this. Don't let a scary market headline push you into a rushed decision. And don't let a cheerful economic headline lull you into ignoring your own numbers. The healthiest move in a week like this one is also the calmest. Know what you owe, know what you're earning on what you've saved, and make those two numbers work as hard as the economy clearly is. Quick reminder, everything we cover on Decoded Money is for educational purposes only. None of this is financial advice, and we're not licensed financial advisors. Before you make any money moves, do your own research and talk to someone who knows your specific situation. If this was useful, hit subscribe. We do this every week. That's the Decode for this week. We'll see you in the next one.